What's up, gang? What's up? Title of this video, first video on my YouTube channel, is Who Are You? Alright. So first, I feel it's only right that I start off by telling you who the fuck I am. Cause like I don't wanna seem like one of these motherfuckers, right, that just get on the internet and try to like give you like life advice and shit. Me personally, I just like sharing my opinion. I feel like everyone's opinion is worth something, you know, right? So me personally, my name's Christian, right? As an artist, I go by Zombie. I am from Florence, South Carolina, this little rinky-dink town in the middle of nowhere, somewhere somewhere down south where the people are hospitable, but you know, it's an environment. I'll put it that way. It's definitely an environment. It's definitely an experience. It's definitely a challenge if you are a more, I'd say, open-minded individual, okay? Because like a lot of the world, and me personally, I haven't done too much traveling, let me say that, but from what I observe, a lot of the world, especially other states, you know, if you go farther north, maybe to the west, you know, it's a lot more, how do I say, it's a lot more advanced, I guess, for lack of a better term, like just industrially, just, you know, the from the infrastructure to the education, quality of the education, you know, like all of that stuff. Like in the South, it's very like traditional in a sense, and it's like a lot of people, I feel, view like Southerners as like behind in a way, because in a sense, like, you know, like I said, especially with the education, like, bro, the education down here is like, let me tell you a story, right? So my girlfriend, she's from Virginia, and she was back and forth between Virginia and South Carolina for a time, you know, for a couple years, a few years, but she's originally from Virginia, right? So from her experience, like, she can easily tell the difference in just like, you know, the school systems and the curriculum down here. And like, she'd always used to tell me like, yo, like, when I go up there and be in school and then come down here, it's like I'd be repeating like the same thing that I was taught, you know, years prior, you know what I'm saying, like grades before. And to me, that's always been interesting, because a lot of how you carry yourself, how you behave, how you view the world is based off of, you know, your education, right? Your input dictates your output, you know, in a sense. So information is really, really important. Like, it's like it's key as fuck. It's like the major key, right? And so as a result, right, there may be more, you know, closed-minded people. There may be more individuals that don't quite understand that the world can be like this big playground, right, for you to just explore. And me personally, I've always had that, you know, that point of view, like, damn, man, like, we could do fucking anything, right, if we just put our minds to it. And so that brings me back to the point of this video, right? Step one, you have to, like, again, information is key as fuck, but you have to have a why. You have to have a reason, right, for everything you do. Even when it comes to learning new information, if your purpose, right, for doing anything is not strong enough to where you feel that shit, like, you fucking, like, you can't live a day without striving towards some shit. And don't get me wrong, that's not something I expect most people to just develop overnight, right? Because it takes a little bit of soul searching. Excuse me. That's some honey ginseng. That shit's honey lemon, excuse me, honey lemon ginseng tea. That shit's fucking fire, bro. But yeah, back to what I was saying. It's like, it's not some shit, you know. I feel like a lot of people, I put it this way, I feel like a lot of people know that in life you should, you know, find yourself, right? You should find your purpose, right? And I feel like even more people already know, right? Like you know what you want to do. You feel me? Like you know what your desires are. You know what your passions are. It's just getting started with that shit, taking action, right? Like that'd be the pain in the ass. And again, that just requires putting one step, one foot forward, you know, taking one step at a time, and not worrying about this shit. Like even right now, as I make this video, like I don't give a fuck, like if I stumble over my words. Like I'm prone to do that. I promise you, like over the course of my journey and you following me on my journey, like you will see I am not perfect in any type of way. Like I swear I will never I will never convey, I will never like promote, like I will never ever, what is the word I am looking for? What is the word, bro? I cannot think of the word. Like there goes the brain fart, right? But present, I will never present myself in a way as like to make people believe I'm this perfect individual, because I'm not, bro. Like nobody is. Like, but there's beauty in that. Like there's beauty in that shit, because I feel like a lot of people are guilty. A lot of people are ashamed of things they've done in the past. A lot of people feel regret heavy, you know, on their fucking shoulders, like this weight that they can't get the fuck off of their back, right? This monkey on their back, so to speak. But I don't know, like you gotta learn to accept shit. You feel me? You gotta learn to accept yourself, man. Because life is beautiful, bro. Like at the end of the day, like you can't take any of this shit with you. Not the money, not the clothes, not the fucking tissue you wiped your ass with, bro. Like none of that shit. You can't take any of that shit with you. And so like the only thing you should be trying to do is be happy. Like, bro, do what makes you happy. Of course you need money, right? But don't value the money for the paper that they made from fucking trees and can print like trillions of, you know, bills like of a second. Like it's ridiculous. Like the whole, like that shit, the whole concept is ridiculous, right? This whole money shit that they have us slaving for, and that the Matrix, right? Because I'm gonna go there. Like you knew I was gonna go there, that the Matrix has us fucking in chains, in shackles, you know, like fucking giving all our life force to, right? Like this money shit, it's important, but it's important because money can buy you time, and time can get you closer to that freedom, to that liberation, right? That we all really want. You feel me? It's not the money. Like even me, like I want the money just like you want the money, nigga. Like I ain't gonna fucking hold you, like whoever you are, shorty, you ever watching this shit, I'm not gonna hold you. Like I want that bag too, but I want the bag so I can be more of myself. You know what I mean? And to liberate myself, right? So when I get up, I can decide, hey, today's gonna go this way, right? And if I decide that I need a break from fucking reality, because that shit can be stressful sometimes, then I want to be in the position. Hang on, I think my fucking AirPod just died. Hold on. But nah, like I was saying, I just want to be in the position, right, to be able to call the shots with my shit, right? Like, and nothing's wrong with money being your goal, you feel me? Like you shouldn't feel like just because all you do is work and you haven't found something that really makes you feel fulfilled, makes you feel like you're being of service to others and providing some form of value, you shouldn't feel like, you know, like damn, my life's ruined and I'm not gonna be any fucking thing. Like I'm getting this money but I'm fucking depressed about it. Because there's people like that. There's people that are rich as fuck, and there are people that can't even look themselves in the mirror with all that fucking money, bro, because they're still living in this guilt, they're still living in this shame, or they still feel like they're not good enough. Let me tell you something, bro. I am fucking good enough for me. You feel me? Like I will forever be good enough for me, because no one knows your struggle, bro. No one knows the shit you go through on a daily basis. No one knows the way your mind operates. No one knows your traumas. No one knows any of that shit, right? And at the same time, you have to behave, right? Like people, like growing up, I don't know if you heard this. Can say I'm black, so I used to hear this all the time. I'm not even like not to be, but it's just reality situation. Like I've always heard like act like you got some sense. Act like your parents, especially in like now again, I'm black. I can't speak for anybody that's white. I'm not about to try to speak for anybody that's white. I feel like we're all humans at the end of the day, so it's all love with me. Like it's all love, like from the bottom of my fucking heart, bro. But it's just me personally, my experience being black, growing up in the black community, seeing poverty in these neighborhoods, seeing fucking drugs, seeing gang violence, like growing up around all this shit, and then also, watching my parents struggle. And from a parenting point of view, when your parents are struggling, like they can't really, because your time's gone. Remember, like we're working for the man here, so like I feel like a lot of people might resent their parents for not being there as much, but you got to understand, bro, like they're doing what they're doing because they love you. They're doing what they're doing in you feel me, in an effort to be able to sustain your life force that you cannot consciously fucking comprehend yet as a little kid, right? And then that's not to get too far off topic, but that's why you grow up and you remember shit your parents used to say, and sometimes it clicks, sometimes it's like damn, sometimes it clicks and it's like damn, I kind of get where mom was coming from, I kind of get where dad was coming from, you feel me? Like if your father was around, because that's a whole nother conversation, like a man not being in a home. I'll save that. Like, you know what, fuck it, we'll go fuck it, we'll go into it, bro. Fuck it all. But but the man not being in the, well, first let me get back to my point, because I have a tendency to do that. I have a tendency to get off track. So let me get back to my previous point before I get into the father figure thing, because that shit is so important for just men, women too, of course, everyone, but especially like young boys. But back to my previous point, no one knows what the fuck you go through, bro. And like I was saying, me growing up, in said environment, I was just always told to act like I had some sense, and basically that was it. And it's like, as a kid, like you're thinking like, okay, act like I have some sense, like don't run around even though I want to play, like all these little things you don't really understand. And at the same time, what I was getting at is a lot of parents, especially in today's age, they don't really have the time to, I would say, raise kids in such a way that they'd be able to understand the concept fully, because kids aren't dumb, like, you know what I'm saying? Like there's certain things your mind isn't able to process yet, so far as like life wisdom and looking at the big picture and all that shit. But if you talk to a child, like they're not dumb, you feel me? They can understand, just like they can tell when they're being neglected and abused. But no, like, I thought that was a car shot, but I thought it was somebody I know was supposed to say, yo. but nah, like, bro, just be yourself. Nobody knows your past. Nobody can tell you that you're not on the right track, you feel me? The only person that knows is you. Getting back to the point of this video, who are you? All right, that's a question you need to be trying to answer. Who am I? Like, what am I interested in? Like, what could I see myself doing? How could I give back? And if you're not quite ready for that mindset of giving back to other people because you're still working on yourself, which I feel that, I get that, you still at least have to be putting a significant amount of time into trying to answer that question. Like, honestly, like, who am I? What do I want out of life? Despite what I've been through, despite like my environment growing up, right now, in the present, today, because you have to take shit day by day, honestly. Like, I just got off the phone with one of my bros. Today's his birthday. Like, shout out my boy SJ if you watching this shit, nigga. I hope you turning the fuck up right now. I just got off the phone with one of my boys, and this shit made me grin because after we got off the phone, excuse me, I remember like, I mean, we had just got off the phone, so it's not like there's any way I could have forgot. But I was just reminiscing on some shit he said. Like, it was some simple shit. I said, "How you been, bro?" Bro goes, "I'm just spectating, man. Living life, you feel me? Taking this shit day by day." And it's not like that was the deepest shit in the world, but that's like that level of mindset that you have to be able to get to. Like the present, being able to detach, being able to let go, and not let go in the sense that, you know, forget the shit. Because I feel like a lot of people think letting go just means you say fuck it and fuck all, but that's not letting go. Like letting go is facing the shit courageously, acknowledging what the fuck you've been through, and learning to accept that shit, and accepting it with the goal of learning from this shit. Because you can accept something, but you also have to learn from it, right? So you have to accept it, and you have to learn from it. That's why healing is such a big deal in between, you know, relationships, like intimate relationships, because you have to take that time to accept what went right or went wrong, learn from it, how it affected you, and how you could do things differently, right? Say it in so many words with the next person. And that shit's key, bro. That shit's key. Like reflection, you know, like who am I? Take the time to reflect on that shit. A lot of people run from themselves, bro. Like you've got social media, you've got drugs, sex, alcohol. Don't get me wrong, I smoke, bro. I'll blow this bitch down. Like weed, like, I don't smoke cigarettes, but weed, bro, I'll blow this bitch down. I'm not even gonna hold you. And I feel like there's nothing wrong with that if it's not a crutch, you know, if you're not dependent on these things, you feel me? If you're still able to be a productive human. I know there's some people that are like, oh, it's just really, like, that's cool, bro. But for me, at least, again, I'm speaking from my personal experience. For me, I can get through my day perfectly fine with a blunt or whatever the hell. Everybody's not the same, so I'm not here to be an advocate for it, because again, like some people, like we just makes them more paranoid. It makes them even more anxious, right? Even more nervous. And again, a lot of that I feel might be because it kind of like you can't really like, okay, back to the reflection thing, right? You've got all these distractions like social media, like all this other shit, like girls, if you're a guy that's still out here chasing women and not trying to fucking be a man and do something with himself, which again, I understand, bro. I was there, you know, we all battle with this shit, but she's not gonna want you until you want yourself, bro. Like to put it in the most simplest way, bro. And women have this like thing about them when they can tell like if you're really on your shit or not. But yeah, back to my point. Reflection is key, and at least for me, marijuana, weed, whatever, if I can say that on here, I don't know, but weed, like that's always been some shit that kind of sits me down. Like even though naturally, again, I'm a very introspective person, I have to get myself up and go, like, you know, focus on more left brain, like logical work, because my mind is naturally more in this dreamer space, right? I'm really creative, I'm really idealistic, and so that's just me personally, and something I had to learn to understand about myself. And there's nothing wrong with that if you are someone that's like that, but you just have to learn to work with your personal energy, right? And so yeah, the weed shit for me, it helps me to sit and reflect on things and be introspective, because I don't know, it's just something about it. Like, bro, when you high, bro, you just be thinking about life. Like, damn, like you start like memories from childhood start resurfacing, all type of shit. And I get how that can make some people anxious, because now you have to face the shit, right? You have to face your thoughts. You can't, it's harder to distract yourself with some other shit, because you're more so like your mind's more so in that subconscious right brain, you know, it's in that space, you know, where all this shit lies under the surface. And so again, that's probably why for me, you know, naturally it's more like, oh yeah, I fuck with that shit. But again, for the people who aren't like me, because everyone's not like me, right? And that's another thing you have to understand as an individual. Everyone's not like you, right? That's why I feel like you should always respect people as people when you meet them. Like, you meet somebody, you have no reason to like be rude to them at all. Like, you have no reason at all. But to avoid that rabbit hole, yeah, man, you gotta reflect. You gotta think about life, about your life. Like, you have to accept the things you've been through, bro. You have to come to terms with this fucking shit, because it's not gonna change. It's a part of you. Like, you have to learn to love that shit, bro. You have to learn to love your motherfucking self, bro. Like, that's some real ass shit, and it can take some time, you know. That's why isolation is always a good thing, you know, spending some time. Like, me personally, I love, you know, socializing. I love it. But as of like the last 2, maybe 3 years, I spent like, I have one, you know, close friend I've known since I was in like 2nd grade. That's my brother, right? We're like, not like, that's my bro. Like, that's my closest motherfucking, like, that's gang for sure. Like, if nobody else is gang, which I got a lot of friends, right? But if like, that's the one, like, we going to war for sure. But I always talk to him, right, on a more or less daily basis, and my girlfriend, of course, and my immediate family, of course. But a lot of the kind of just, I don't want to say extra, because every relationship can provide value, but when you're trying to get yourself together, like, if it's not helping you, it's hurting you in a sense, right? So you kind of have to learn to love people from a distance, and that's kind of the journey I've been on for these past couple years. And again, that's allowed me to dive deeper into my own psyche, to be able to understand myself and how I operate a little bit better. And I just hope that through that, I'm able to kind of help others a little bit, you know, in a sense. And I'm only 23. I don't know if I said that or not. I'm only fucking 23, right? And a lot of, again, maybe it's I don't know if it's just some southern shit, I don't know, but around here, a lot of people my age, like, they act like they're in their 30s and shit, like life is fucking over, especially if they have a kid. And I'm like, bro, we're still young as fuck. Like, we can still do like so much. It's just like a mindset. Like, down here, like, it's such like a mindset thing. Like, I don't want to say more than it is in other places, because again, I haven't been everywhere. It'd be unfair for me to say that. But from what I can see, you know, like, it's like that down here. I'll put it that way. It's fucking like that in the South, bro. Like, the people are hospitable. Like, the people are, you know, kind, you know, for the most part. Of course, you're gonna get some, everywhere you go, there's gonna be some assholes. Like, everywhere you go, there's gonna be some genuinely cool people. But, yeah, you have to know who you are through it all, for sure. And you have to start there. Most definitely. If that means distancing yourself for a while so you can get your mind together, bro, so you can get your shit together, bro, do that. Because once you do that, you'll be able to give back to other people, bro. And that shit, you can't put a price on that shit. Like, you couldn't put a price on that shit. So I love you all. Peace.